My name is Saumya Shinde. I'm from class 10th. I'm from Udyachal High School. So my sister and my sister was actually thinking with my dad about how to give back, and she had been a part of KER before. Like I think for a year she was a part of the KER, and she started her journey with KER National Summit, and the effect it had on her, the way she had changed, and she wanted other children to experience the same change she had gone through. And that's why one day my dad and she were just discussing of how to give back, and we stumbled upon the idea of focusing on going back to the roots. So Nasik is our native place, and that's why we decided to take that as the field area of where we would be starting our project first. So we thought of going to the school, MP Suryavanshi school. My uncle is a trustee of that school, so it made it more easier for like 3 children, like me, my sister, and one of my other classmates, Ahana. We all decided to go. So 3 students, like 15-16-year-old students, are going to come and teach something in the school. So it will be pretty difficult to convince any school about that. So we thought of taking help of our uncle and going to that school first, so it was easier. And we used to sit together every day. I remember it was an exam period, and after every exam we used to come home, we used to sit, we used to talk about all the arrangements to go there, to travel alone, because we're not taking any adults with us. So it was just us 3, so we were getting like actual on-field experience, like hands-on experience. So the traveling, the living, all the expenses had to be looked after. So how would the funding be done? So I think my sister was in touch with the fellows from KER and the Didis from KER, and I remember they would really guide us on how to get the funds. So they would not outright help us with that, because that would be like stealing the experience away from us of doing an entire project by ourselves, and the core part would be funds. So they actually allowed us to experiment, and they encouraged us to go on different sites and how to raise a fundraiser. So that was something very new for us, because we have done projects before, like small scale projects which did not require funds, or the funds were readily available. So this was a project where we had to start everything from scratch. The sessions and everything, we used to sit and we used to discuss, and I have done my facilitation via Seeds of Peace. So I had taken up the role of the facilitator. So I would have sessions where I would conduct dialogue and serious talks with the entire group, or have sessions or energizing activities with intentions behind them. And Ahana was more into arts and crafts, so she would try to encourage the girls to paint and to maybe dance and to sing and to get them out of the comfort zone, and to try to explore the potential they had. And my sister was just overlooking everything, so she was all over the place every time, and she used to be like in every single field. So I was just handling mine and Ahana was handling her thing, but she used to be the one who had to do the hard part of talking to the parents. So talking to the parents was one of the difficult things we had to do. So we had thought of if we ever had a session in our school, what would we want to be educated about from someone who has all the resources. So first we thought of like all the topics which might be needed in today's world to sustain, and maybe all the skills needed today, and the leadership skills. So in leadership skills we thought, if you're not really updated with what's happening around the world today, maybe the feminist movement, or maybe the movements against caste discrimination and everything else which is happening today, we want them to be aware about it first, to know ki okay, and all the topics are very relatable to them, right? Like colorism, body shaming, it's happening to them on a daily basis. They are having the side effects of that. They are maybe inflicting that on someone else unknowingly or knowingly. So when we start from there, this is the state you're in, this is how the society, the media has made you, but you can change, but you can become better, but you can lead a change in your own community. So when they realize that, they feel okay, it's not that impossible. If I can change my opinions about something, I can definitely change the community around me. Because changing yourself, we all believe that changing yourself is more difficult than trying to change someone else. We had made a list of all the topics we would have liked to be educated about. So a lot of topics that came up were like racism, body shaming, LGBTQ, feminism was another thing which came up, hygiene, menstruation, and I think more, there are like 6-7 more topics. Maybe like how to handle stress and everything was also there on the list. So these were topics which we were interested in, and we knew it's something we needed. And I think we also had like close experiences with these topics, and we had like a huge list of what we want to teach them, but we thought of going steady and slow. So we started with things which they could relate to. So body shaming, racism, menstruation, or something we could start with, rather than just directly jumping to like maybe very different point of view for them, like maybe LGBTQ would not be something they would be really accepting of. So we had to first start off very small baby steps, because getting them to even think about all these topics, to talk about menstruation also freely, was a huge task. And that's why we are like still planning out like spacing out sessions. So as their understanding deepens, and as they get to know, okay, there's a world beyond all of this, and opinions of every person will matter and should matter, then we could tackle these issues. And I think girls were also a main focus, because we wanted to focus on the girl power, and as I said, the education and the opportunities and everything for the girls was supposed to be, we wanted them to have more of these opportunities. One problem which we saw in the, maybe how we could get the students more to open up, when we used to conduct the art and craft workshops, painting and everything, or dancing, we saw the girls were holding themselves back, because it was something they had never done before. So it was like not something they were encouraged about, like dance freely, like how we are told here, or paint freely. So in that manner, when we made them sit and do the project together and make the drawing and everything, we realized that the girls were not ready to pick up the crayon if they were not good at painting, because that's what they were taught. If you're not good at it, don't even try it. So with that mindset, it was very difficult to get them to even get a crayon in their hand and even think of painting. So they would be like, okay, one girl in our group is the best artist, we'll make her do for everyone. So we wanted them to do it on their own, though. Like individualism was not present, which we were really trying to open up into. And confidence was something they lacked, because embarrassment, public, the fear of public speech was something which was very eminent. So what, as a facilitator, it was my job to notice all of this nitty-gritty things and try to get them over it, or try to make them at least make aware that okay, these things are existing, how do you want to tackle it. So what we had done was a very simple exercise which I learned at Seeds of Peace, was to make them all stand in like parallel lines, and one by one girl will come in like the center, and she will say her name loudly. So it will be like मेरा नाम सौम्या है और मेरा दिन बहुत ही खुशहाल है, and I hope the same goes for you. So you have to say it like really loudly, and it might seem like a very small, like a game for some people, and it was like people were encouraging each other, like they were clapping, when the friends were going in front, and they were like hooting and cheering for them. And in the starting, it was very difficult to get them to come in front. So we had to start with ourselves. So me, Ahana, and my sister, we started first. But it might seem like a very small exercise, but the intention behind it is, when you say your name so loudly in a room, you are establishing, you're claiming your body space. You're claiming the room. You want to be there, and you're making sure the entire room knows, okay, this is me, and I am not scared to be myself in this room. This is my name, and a name has like so much implication and so much, it's like an identity of yours. So when you say your name so loudly yourself, and you establish that, like the air in the room is changed, and you could sense with every girl who was coming in front, with every name which was being said, with every time they were wishing each other like, may you have a happy day. It was also subconsciously registering, okay, we're going to have a happy day, and we're here for each other, and also I am claiming the space in this room how much ever I want, and I'm being comfortable in the room. The third thing, which was a huge problem, was the teachers told us the students will do not expect a huge attendance. And because normally on school days also, normal functioning school days, even during exams, very low attendance used to be there. So the teachers were like, do not have high hopes, because they might get crushed. So just come with really low expectations, like most you might have like 10 to 15 girls interested, and even out of those 10-15 girls, maybe 5 to 6 might not even be able to come to school. So maybe 8 girls, most to most maximum, if you are lucky, you might get 8 girls to start the project with. So we had gone with like really low expectations, but we were hopeful, so we kept like resources, enough in case someone wanted to turn up. And we were kind of discouraged in the start, like, okay, it's only going to be 8 girls, but even that's like a huge start. So as the days passed by, the first day itself we had like 20 girls, which was like a huge number for us. And it was just vacation time. So the teachers were like, ऊपर से vacation time है, आप नहीं कर पाओगे. Like that was the statement they had used, like the actual, to quote them, they had said that. And they thought it was impossible to get girls to school because it was vacation and the girls would rather, go and have fun or just sit around. But as the days passed by, the numbers kept increasing. And I think by the end of it, we had like 40 girls and like 10-15 boys. So like boys was not the main focus of this, like it was mostly girls. But the boys were so interested and so intrigued by what we were doing. Like they used to come and they used to like peep into the classroom and they used to see, okay, they're doing something here and they're doing something worthwhile because so many girls are attending. So whenever the students saw, okay, in a class there's so many people, it has to be something very interesting. कुछ बोलो, वीडियो चालू है. मैं क्या बोलूं? आपका नाम बोल लो. आप बोलो कुछ. माझं नाव रेखा. माझं नाव निकिता आहे. माझं नाव पूजा आहे. माझं नाव तनू आहे. तुम्हाला आवडतं इकडे? किती आवडतं? जोरात बोला. So Sachetna means to give a new life, or to rejuvenate, or to I guess Sachetna, literal definition would mean like to give a new life, but for us it was like creating a spark in their lives and setting their souls on fire, like okay, I want to do something more, like giving them more passion. And the life they've lived till now might have been maybe you're not aware about what's happening around you, maybe you didn't know, okay, these all things exist in the society, but after the project, the expected outcome would be to literally have a rebirth, like get out of all of these things, society's expectations, family expectations and everything else, and just focus on yourself and what do you want. So that was something which we really wanted to focus on. The project name was Sachetna, and we were thinking of like a tagline or a slogan or something like that to be written down, and we were just thinking of many taglines we could use, but none of them could really none of them felt very personalized, and none of them felt like the appropriate one, the one which could sum up everything which we had done over there. So in the end, the one we had come up on was, not everyone can do great things, but all of us can do small things with great love. The impact it had on all of us was, I guess, different for all of us. But for me, I would say I definitely got very, close to my roots, like which was the entire, starting point of, doing something, giving something back to the society. So that satisfaction did come, like, okay, I have done something worthwhile. And the empathy factor did come in that, okay, there are people outside who might need more help. And it also developed our own skills, I think, like, managing 40, 50 people, trying to get them to learn something, trying to, strike a balance between being a fun person and a disciplined person, a strict person. I think all of these things, and the traveling part, traveling alone, staying alone, and getting all the small details of the entire project done, I don't know, like maybe getting resources, like getting stuff for them so they can do all the sessions on their own, or trying to even sustain the project ahead and planning every session together. It was like a fun experience, a learning experience, and it really made us all realize the privilege we have and how we can use it better.